We're the Con Guys, and this is the Con Guy Show, coming to you straight from the nerdy heart of Hollywood, California.
And this is Jim with theconguy.com.
Cheeseman here with theconguy.com.
Katie here, aka the Con Girl.
Zordon did not want 5 teenagers with attitude.
My name is Derek Sam.
I'm naysayers, and that's my brother.
We are your home for news, opinions, and interviews from the world of Comic-Cons and fandoms. Your ultimate insiders for all things con.
There's Eric right there.
Hey, Eric, I made it.
Let me do this a little bit. All right. Well, welcome to the Con Guy Show, the official program of theconguy.com, coming to you from the nerdy heart of Hollywood, California. Your home for news, opinions, and discussions on all things Comic-Cons, fandoms, and pop culture. In other words, the whole con universe. And we have a big con coming up in a couple of weeks. It's San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition in San Diego. We're going to be talking about that a little bit. But first, we do have some special guests on the show who have a brand new graphic novel we're going to be talking about. And then look at all the beautiful hosts we have with us this week. This is so, and we're talking cons. We have made it through the Halloween season, so we're gonna kind of put Scare Guy not on hold, but a little bit less prominent.
We're canceling it.
If
Scare Guy is canceled.
What? Say that again?
I said we're canceling it. Scare Guy is canceled forever.
Wait, Jonathan Wilkinson is watching. Jonathan, I have your gloves. Jonathan drove in from Vegas to come to our Halloween party. That was the coolest thing ever.
That was amazing to see him in person.
It was. He was only 2 hours early, and I remember I felt so bad. I opened up the door. I said, "You're 2 hours early." He was like, "Well, let me help," and he did. He came in, he helped set up. Jonathan's the best guest ever. Jonathan, you're welcome at any party we ever have. Anyways, we have a lot to talk about today, and we're going to try to not go super long. So, San Diego Comic-Con is just weeks away, happening Thanksgiving weekend, Friday, November 26th through Sunday, the 28th, in beautiful downtown San Diego. And tonight we dig through the panels and spotlight some of our favorites. Plus, we discuss the ins and outs of this year's convention, because it is a weird, different kind of convention. Not all of us are going this year, but some of us are, so we'll talk about that. And then Ben, Katie, Danae, and I think Derek. Derek's always like the what do you call it? Not the oddball.
The wild card. The mad
wild card. So we all have a little bit of stuff to share tonight. And Jonathan, only if Ben isn't there. I
think he means at your party, since I wasn't at your Halloween party.
Yeah, we really missed Ben, but Jonathan, so glad you came. All right. So our first guest tonight is a friend of mine, and he's a friend of a lot of us here. Some of us are in a writers group where we develop scripts and try to make them work because we want to be famous screenwriters. Eric De La Rosa is one of the members of that group. Eric, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having us on.
I am so glad to have you and Nick on tonight. They have a new graphic novel called Forge. I think it's wait. I've actually got pictures for this. We have so many pictures tonight.
Oh, I haven't seen any pictures for it yet.
Here we go.
Our work is really good.
Forge. It's a brand new steampunk comic book series crafted from the minds of Eric De La Rosa, Joseph King Kong,
King Cone,
and Nick Lishko. Mm-hmm. What originally started out as a TV pilot has transmogrified, love the word, into the wonderful world of comics full of adventure, intrigue, and loads of steam. Eric and Nick, welcome to the show.
It is awesome to be here.
All right. First of all, tell us about your comic and tell us about the Kickstarter that's happening.
Sure. I mean, this all started off as a TV pilot that we wanted to send out to folks because we love the steampunk genre, but we just don't see. This was back in 2014, and there just weren't any steampunk TV shows, and The comics are pretty slim pickings. There's pretty much Lady Mechanica, and there wasn't much else, although that comic is amazing, and you should totally check it out. But we knew that we wanted to have a steampunk show, and so one night we just kind of started spitballing ideas, and we came up with this really awesome idea that we all loved, and we started trading drafts and creating characters and thinking of every cool thing that could possibly be in this universe. And essentially, we came up with a really awesome TV pilot that did really well in a couple of different contests. And then it was the one idea that we just couldn't let go. I think it was that following Christmas. Like I sent everyone the second episode just as a Christmas present. And then Eric completely butchered it and turned it into something else. I'm just kidding, Eric. You did a great job. And that's actually what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the rest of this show turned into a comic series. So the first issue is the first half of the pilot. The second issue is the second half. And then hopefully, if we get fully funded, the third issue will be essentially the first half of the second episode. So we're trying to transmogrify this TV series that we just love like crazy into a comic book series. And that's where we're at now.
For normal folks like me, what does transmogrify mean? I really know what it means, but...
Did you ever read Calvin and Hobbes?
Yes!
Yeah, he had the transmogrifier that he would go into and transform.
Oh, I just thought it was his imagination.
Yeah, well, I mean, that works too.
Well, tell us a little bit about the comic book itself, and then Derek and Danae, since they are part of Eric's writing group, they've got questions. All right.
Sure.
All right, Eric, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the comic book?
Sure. Yeah. We have some great artwork. Like Nick said, this was something that originally started as a pilot script that we had written. And in fact, our group, Jim's writing group, actually read early drafts of this several years back and gave us some great notes. Mm-hmm. And it really helped us reshape how we put together the rest of the series. But yeah, it's following the citizens of this wonderful town called Forge and watching them kind of deal with issues of intrigue and mystery going on around them.
That sounds cool. Danae and Derek, have at it.
Well, I'm excited because I'm a steampunk fan. Derek and I have cosplayed. Well, Derek, it was at your wedding rehearsal, right? That we did Steampunk Justice League. We have done Steampunk Justice League, Punk Justice League, Business Casual Justice League. I've been several forms of Aquaman. So I'm excited for this. How would you say it compares to something like, I really enjoyed the Amazon original series Carnival Row, which was also very like steampunky. It was like if somebody took the 10th Kingdom, if you might remember from the early aughts, and made it very dark. So if somebody was a fan of that, like how would you sell this show to them?
I think what that Forge fits kind of right in with that. It's got a lot of the darkness that you would see in that series. It's got a lot of the mystery and the fantastical aspects of it. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot of the big selling point for this particular concept that we just love is that there is this kind of mist that is moving in on the city and it's blocking off the people from anybody else outside. And within this mist, as it were, are creatures of legend and lore. And so people have been telling stories around the campfire of what they're hearing about what's in the mist and the mist monsters and all those sorts of things. So I think that we fit well within that fantastical genre that show had. And there's also the Nevers on HBO, and it fits into that well. It's got that beautiful Victorian style that steampunk fans are used to and just love, like the fashion, the weapons, all that good stuff.
Awesome. Derek, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was several times I was going to jump in, but I didn't want to interrupt you. So I remember when we had a look at this when it was just written as a TV pilot, that the world was really complex. And there were a whole lot of fascinating characters. And I was in love with just the world building of it all. And in my mind, I was trying to imagine all the ways, just what stuff would actually look like and how this might be achieved. And I love that this is a graphic novel. I think that's the perfect approach to take right here. I'm wondering, has it, in transmogrifying it, did the story change very much, or were you able to keep a lot of those core concepts in place?
Yeah, I think a lot of the stories stayed the same. I think what's even been more exciting is the way that some of the artwork that we've gotten from our artists has just really he just had a really great grasp for the steampunk genre, and the things that he would draw would just inspire more. And it was always great to see, what he was coming up with. He brought it a whole nother level. So I'm glad that you loved the early versions, because you saw, the creativity and the craft of it. And then now we feel it even took it up another level by actually having these great visuals to look at.
I think one thing that may have changed a bit from the drafts that you would have read, which, by the way, the notes from your group were insanely helpful, and we're always grateful for that. The thing that I have found to be the most interesting when transforming it from TV pilot to comic book is you really push even harder the get into a scene as late as possible, get out as early as possible. We went through 19 drafts of this before we even started submitting it to contests or even to artists, because when you're studying a lot of the comic books nowadays, you have like 2 pages to convey a whole scene, and you want to make sure that you aren't wasting any time or that there isn't any filler language. Like every scene or every line is doing double duty, as it were. You're not only revealing character, but you're also pushing the plot along. And so we killed some of our favorite lines just for the sake of, this is going to be bloated on the page. This is going to be way too much text. I think we even had a couple of lines that we had to rewrite during penciling just because the bubbles were like this big and it was covering up all the beautiful art that Mauricio had been doing. So that's been the biggest change, is like before, when you're really ironing out, now you're really shrinking things down to make sure you're only showing the most important information.
That is so hard to do as a writer. I remember a professor that Derek and I both had once said, like, anybody can write, but the artist edits. So that's fantastic that you were going to make those cuts, as painful as they might have been. But I wanted to ask, can you tell us a little bit about the artist behind this? I thought it was a team, but it was just one person?
It is one person, but also his brother. So one person is doing all of the artwork and doing the pencil, the inks, and then his brother's doing the colors. And so it's Fernando, and Fernando's our colorist, and Mauricio is the brother. And they did this wonderful job doing all this artwork for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Do they have like Instagram or any socials where people can follow them?
Yes, Mauricio, I believe, is on Facebook, and so is Fernando. And if they're on Instagram, I will get you both of those handles. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We should tag them then, Jim, if we can.
Yeah.
I would love. Can you guys? And I'm gonna jump into for Derek. Can you talk about the process of seeing the art? How do you see the art, and how do you prove the art? And what does he draw on? Is it like a sketch pad? Is it digital? How does that work?
Man, well, first I'll say this much: I think we all know that rule about having as much white space as possible when you're writing the script. In comics, no, you go nuts. Like instead of 2 to 3 lines for description, you're doing like 10, 12, and you're getting ultra specific, like down to like the button that somebody's wearing. So after that point, we would sent the pilot to Mauricio, and then he would take the pages and then break things down. And he would start with the penciling phase, which is very, very rough. And then we would just zoom in 200% on the biggest screen that we would have and just start critiquing every little detail, or maybe do this with the panel. Maybe instead of a far shot, it's a medium shot over here. And then his turnaround time was insanely fast. He would send us new pencils, and then that would get changed into the inking phase. And then we give them more notes. And then once the inking was solidified, then it went to his brother, Fernando, and then Fernando would do illustrations, and then we'd say, well, maybe that skin tone's not quite, or we want this particular color for this vest, or this person has this color hair, and things like that. So what do you think, Eric? Maybe 4 or 5 drafts per page at that rate?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times, Mauricio was right on the ball. If we told him there was hardly any changes, and like you said, if there were a couple changes, it was like a note continuing going forward, like, oh, just make, the sleeves longer on this dress or whatever. And like he would continue on and make those notes and changes. But yeah, it is interesting how much of a director you kind of become when you're doing a script that was made for a screenplay. And then you're like, okay, now I need to like elaborate every little thing because these are my notes to the artists themselves in creating this project.
Cool. Hey, can I ask you guys, tell us about the Kickstarter.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as of right now, issues 1 and 2 are 100% done. And the third issue, we're just essentially waiting for 100% backing. But right now, we're asking for $12,000, which will do the first 3 issues. I mean, the lowest tier would just be a PDF of issue 1, which I don't think anybody has gone for. People have been extremely generous. I would say the best tier right off the bat is the $50 one, which is a soft cover, hard copy of the first 3 issues with some bonus content with sketches and character profiles and all those different things. We've got 12 days to go. Right before we hit your show, we were at 49%, and then we started, and we're at 51%. So we got 12 days left. But if you go to our Kickstarter, we have the first 8 pages, or is it the first 9, Eric? I think
it's the first 8, but
it's the first 8. But with the 50, now that we are at 50%, we're going to throw in pages 9 and 10 in our update that's coming out tomorrow morning.
And to find it on Kickstarter, I think we have it listed here. Forged, a new fantastical steampunk comic number 1 through 3. Is that what they search for?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So how did you guys find your artists?
Yeah.
We had a crazy long auditioning process that started last April, like within a month of the pandemic. Eric had posted on a Facebook page, and I had posted a wanted ad on DeviantArt, and we got probably 75 artists in 24 hours that were just ready to send us their samples. And it ranged from people who were just on, like, we had one person who was honestly doing stick figures to somebody who had been like in the comic industry for 30 years and then left DC, and now I was just doing freelance. So we had a crazy range of talent. And then from there, we had an Excel document of just, we would start grading people's work, and then we would reach out to people who we thought were, we all agreed were at least a 4 out of 5 from what we saw from their sample pages. And then we effectively sent them an NDA, part of the script, and then told them this is what we're looking to do. And we just started auditioning at that rate. We just kept narrowing down until we got to about 5 and then 3. And then at the end of the day, Mauricio won out.
Good. And can I just tell you, I appreciate the fact that you guys are paying your artists, you're paying independent creators. They've been hurting so much. And so this is awesome because so many people go into like, hey, I'll buy you a cheeseburger and a pizza if you draw this page for us. And, I'm sure there's a little bit of that goes on, but thank you for supporting independent artists and comic book making. This is fantastic. Any final questions? We do.
Yes, please. I've been itching to ask. And
yes.
Okay, we've all been asking questions about the creation, and that's great. And for people who are into that side of things, but okay, just as somebody who wants to read the comic, tell us, what kind of cool gadgets do we get in this series? Because steampunk is about the gadgets.
All right.
What's the gear like? What are the toys that I'm going to wish I could buy?
I'll tease one thing because I don't want to give away too many things, but I'll tease one thing. So in our universe, paper is a rare commodity and not everybody is able to read. So there are these characters called chalk bearers, and what their job is to read the news to people on a giant 100-foot chalkboard that sits outside of the town's clock tower. The way that they get around town and the way they discover the news is a crazy zip line function. There's wires all throughout the town, and there's these 2 kids who are constantly running on rooftops and clipping onto zip lines going from building to building. So that's one.
That is so cool. That might be the most steampunk.
Oh no!
Oh, Danae froze.
There you go.
You froze for a second there, Danae.
Danae, you froze up. That made you the most steampunk.
Most steampunk thing I've ever heard. Sorry.
No, it's awesome.
Am I back? You
You're
guys
back.
never froze on my end. Sorry.
That's
all right,
Eric, can you give us one too?
Go ahead.
Well, there's a unique concept. I guess, Nick, I'm going to kind of tell about this. A unique system we have for punishment in the city called the barter of blood. And it is kind of
my question.
No.
And it is kind of the punishment system that we're going to see done in the city. And it's a very unique public display, and it also comes with this cool armor and gear that's involved with it as well. And so I think you'll really enjoy visually the barter of blood in the show as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about hitting up any conventions? We're about to talk about the Comic-Con special edition. You guys going to try to hit some of the conventions, maybe LA Comic-Con, some of the bigger ones, smaller ones?
I was just at Denver Pop Culture Con.
Yeah.
So that was 2 weekends ago, which was insane. But I don't think I don't know if I'm going to make any cons in California right now. But Eric, I don't know.
All right.
You?
All right, Eric and Nick, we'll start with Nick. Where can people find you online and follow the progress of the project and how they can continue to give?
Gosh, so it's funny thing with this particular project, and this is one big thing outside of the screenwriting comfort zone, but I'm on every friggin' social media now, from Facebook to LinkedIn to TikTok to Twitter to Instagram to all of those. You can find our TikTok on City of Forge. And I actually go through the entire process of essentially conceptualizing our idea to hiring the artist to now where we're at. And you can also find me on nickwrites.net. And I have a whole story there on the whole process of transmogrifying the script into a comic script.
And so for those of you who are listening, that's NIC, not NICK.
That's right.
Nickwrites.net. All right, Eric.
Well, I'm the opposite. I'm not any of the socials. But,
So you're like Derek in that sense.
so you can find me on Facebook through my name, I guess, and we'll figure it out from there. But anything that like Nick is involved with the City of Forge, I'm a part of that group as well. So I will keep posted that way.
We do have an email of cityofforge@gmail.com, which you can reach us for any questions.
All right, now they're right at 51%. So I do encourage everybody, if you get a chance, go to their Kickstarter, look up Forge, a new fantastical steampunk comic, number 1 through 3, and we will have them back on to tell us how they did. I can't wait to see it. I really can't wait to see it. I can't wait to come up to you in either a comic book shop or at a convention and have you sign the number 1. So really excited about that, Eric. And Nick, thank you guys for coming on the show tonight. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much
for having us. This has been
all
awesome.
right. So that's Forged by Fire. Hopefully you guys will catch that pretty soon. Forged by Fire. And Eric and Nick, so glad to have you guys tonight. All right. And we're back.
They've disappeared.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that almost professional? The graphics
Almost.
up.
It was until you started talking about it.
That's why we pay you the big bucks.
All right. So before we jump into Comic-Con, because let's be honest, this is a smaller Comic-Con. There's not as much to talk about, but we do have some stuff to talk about there. But guys, it's been kind of a minute before we just sat down and had a good old-fashioned pop culture discussion. And so I know a lot's going on, and we're going to go around the horn, as they say, and see what people have to bring for us today. So how about we start with one of the biggest. Who wants to go first? Somebody raise your hand. Who wants to go first? Go first. And
Timothy, you gave us a list.
Ben is going. He's ready.
Wait, what did you say about a list, Danae?
Jim gave us a rundown. I'm following the rundown, and you're first on it, Benjamin.
Yeah, I'm first on it.
That's why he raised his hand. You know.
We have a list, and I did not put anything on that list, so I think I can just let Ben go first.
So she don't have anything.
Derek, I will share my moment on the list with you.
Derek, think up something. I'm sure you got something.
Oh, I'll jump in on whatever.
Alrighty. So first of all, one of the big things in the nerd pop culture that came out in the last, what was it, 24 in the last 24 hours, it was like 9 hours ago, 10 hours ago, something like that, is the new poster for Spider-Man No Way Home. And it's full of spoilers and secrets and things that are crazy. And if you look at this up there, if you're looking at this on your screen up in the right hand corner, you got green man up there, the green surfer, and then you got the robot elephant trunks around there, because Elephant Man, of course, famous Spider-Man villain. And then you got the lightning coming down in the middle for Power Man 5000, his famous villain from the Spider-Man universe. No, I'm just joking, of course. So the biggest thing that people freaked out about, of course, is up in the top right-hand corner, that last shot there, Green Goblin. And it very, very much resembles Green Goblin from the Tobey Maguire first Spider-Man movie. Of course, that's been, there's been like, oh, Willem Dafoe was on set and this and that and the other thing. And we had, the little Green Goblin like grenades in the first trailer that came out and that sort of thing. So now we're getting a full body shot. It's clearly a Green Goblin. We can't necessarily confirm it's the Green Goblin, the Willem Dafoe Green Goblin, but pretty much looks like it. And I'm not sure if that's confirmed or not that Willem Dafoe is in it. I think that's still just like, oh, I think we saw something. Also, of course, the electricity coming down for Electro. These are all. Go ahead.
Electro hasn't been in the show yet, right? In the movies, right? I don't remember.
Well, so the whole thing has been like, oh, Jamie Foxx is coming back to play Electro from the Andrew Garfield series.
Oh yeah, he was. And see, so much has happened. I don't remember.
Right. And so, this has been the thing. It was like, oh, we're getting Green Goblin, we're getting Electro, and of course, the biggest piece of Easter egg or whatever you want to call it on the poster is the robotic tentacles of Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock. Of course, Alfred Molina, who is, I think, Jim's favorite actor. And I don't think Jim knows this. Jim, I don't think you know what Alfred Molina's first on-screen appearance ever was. I don't think you've ever asked this question or
dun, dun, dun,
Raiders of the Lost Ark. But yeah, and of course we had Alfred Molina in the trailer as his Doc Ock character from Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2. Sam Raimi directed that, of course. And very exciting because that's like one of my favorite superhero movies of all time is Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2. So very much looking forward to, I think we're supposed to get another trailer supposedly maybe on Disney Plus Day, which we will be talking about shortly. I yield my time.
Can I ask you a question though, Ben?
Absolutely not.
As someone who does not know any of these answers, because what rumors have you heard about the new Spider-Man film?
The internet goes wild with rumors. So, of course, with these villains, with the concept of multiverses coming from the Loki series and Doctor Strange, people, of course, are going to jump into probably the most famous multiverse concept in the Marvel comics, which is the Spider-Verse. Sony released an animated Spider-Verse movie a couple years ago that hit really huge. Of course, these are Spider-Mans from different universes coming together and meeting each other. So, of course, everybody is like, we've got to have Tobey Maguire. We've got to have Andrew Garfield at least making appearances in this movie because we are having the villains, or at least rumored to have the villains, and one confirmed, appearing in this Spider-Man No Way Home movie. So that's the big thing, that they're going to open it up to bringing at least cameos from Garfield and Maguire in. And then, like, Kevin Feige came out and he was like, whoa, pump the brakes, everybody. Let's lower our expectations, which a lot of people saw as, ooh, maybe he's trying to backpedal this because maybe the internet got too out of control. But then,
he's trying to make it more hype. Like, he's trying to make us lower our expectations so that we're more excited about it.
Right. And that was what I was about to say. Or he's trying to do a smoke screen and like, just kidding.
Well, I heard a rumor that Marie Curie was going to be in it with her sidekick Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So never know.
I heard that they were replacing Tom Holland, the actor, with Tom Holland, the author, who's like 53 years old and writes about histories and stuff and is British. Yeah, he's also English.
I'm a fan of that.
There's also rumors that Daredevil is in it, and I would be stoked because since that unfortunately ended on Netflix, I think we've all been waiting for him to appear in. They live in the same cities.
I would also be stoked, but I don't think that's very realistic.
What's realistic in the MCU?
What's real anymore?
There's also the fact that I mentioned Madame Curie, you guys.
I didn't see.
I was on board for that.
Be Carnage, but apparently the stinger scene at the end of Venom: Let There Be Carnage has a reference to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and Venom recognizing him. So Sony has started to stick their Venom tentacles into the MCU. So we'll see, and we'll see.
Well, that would be cool.
Sorry, Ben. I have a question for y'all.
Yeah.
What is I feel like with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is, people may not know this, Spider-Man is the most popular superhero when it comes to merchandise. He is the #1 selling superhero. So Spider-Man has a lot to live up to, and there's a lot of characters we all want to see in Spider-Man. Do you guys think that the hype for Spider-Man is higher because of his popularity?
I don't know. I know that his trailer for the new movie, 355 million in the first 24 hours, it eclipsed.
Wow.
Yeah, it eclipsed Avengers Endgame. Is like people are really into it. And starting next year, it's the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. Marvel's starting a 1-year campaign to celebrate all things Spider-Man. So we'll see what happens next year. We'll see what happens. But I know that Stan Lee was when he was kind of struggling, and he was, how old was he? Was he 40 years old when he was instrumental? Who did he create Spider-Man with? Was it him and Jack Kirby? I'm going to be run off of the Con Guy show if I can't answer this question.
That sounds pretty funny.
Yeah, when Stan Lee came out with Spider-Man, he was like 40 years old. So, and before that, he kind of, he was working, but he wasn't well known, and his comic book company wasn't super well known. I know that the Fantastic.
It was created with Steve Ditko.
Steve Ditko, oh my gosh, one of the most famous creators of all time. Yes, thank you for looking that up. Fantastic Four was created 1 year prior, and then Spider-Man came along and blew Marvel into the stratosphere of popularity. So, Katie, I think you're right. He is so popular. I don't know about the merchandising, but
Stan Lee was not quite 40 when the first Spider-Man issue came out, because it was August of 1962, and Stan Lee was born in December of 1922. Just throwing that out there. Thank you, Wikipedia.
How old was he?
Well, I said he just hadn't had his birthday that year yet, so he was 39.
Not quite 40.
What's slightly less than 40?
For the record, my favorite Spider-Man movie is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I love that movie. So much.
Honestly, same. Jake Johnson is my favorite Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh, I just love the way they did that. All right, Ben, before you're done with your section, hey Ben, look.
Blood good.
All right. Welcome to the show, Kat. All right, we have let's move over to Danae. Danae, you also have something to talk to us about. Danae?
I do. If you couldn't tell by my trucker hats, some Stranger Things stuff is happening. I'm so excited. I mean, we had my old college friend Jonathan on to talk about Stranger Things, which just closed off Broadway in New York. You can listen to it on Amazon Music, Spotify. It was an amazing Stranger Things parody musical. So shout out real quick to that. So we got a new Stranger Things trailer. Did you guys watch it?
I did.
Which one? You mean the one that came out like a month ago, or was like another new one released?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
The one came out.
And behind.
Yeah, I'm with you, Katie. I've had no time. Yeah,
y'all, I am so I don't know that I've ever been this I love Stranger Things. When it dropped, I was on it, but I don't know if I've been more excited than I am right now for Stranger
Things.
I mean, we get to see that the buyers plus 11. Sorry, what was it, Jim? Jim, what did you say?
Oh no, you froze. You said
sorry.
string, and I just finished your things. You're good.
Sorry. So the buyers plus 11 are in California. What? I don't know. I'm excited. There's a pizza truck. Oh my gosh, all the kids are so grown up, like they're teenagers now. And it's exciting. We know that they're going to get back together. Spoiler alert, Hopper is in, Russia. What is happening? It is so exciting. I cannot wait for this new season to drop. It is coming summer of next year. So we only have about 7 months to wait. Yeah, 2022 has been so.
If he's in Russia, are we going to find out how he got some kind of super soldier thing?
I hope so. I mean, the timeline fits for him to be, communist Captain America. He's been hanging out with Black Widow. I want to know what's going on. At the same time, we just got a bunch of these pop-up stores. Have you guys seen? I have not been able to go yet, but luckily I do. This is the only time I'm ever going to say this. Luckily, I live in Los Angeles, so I really want to go and select. I froze again.
You're still going though.
Monkeys. What?
I heard monkeys. I don't know what she's talking about, y'all.
She's high on Stranger Things enthusiasm. It's all right. It's all good.
No, it's a teaser for season 4. There's some monkeys in it. No, crud monkeys is what I say when I want to be G-rated on here. So yeah, the pop-up stores are coming. I'm excited because there's some near us in Los Angeles. I really want to go. I want to see some of the stuff they've got because you can see the buyer's house, the Upside Down. I don't know. I don't remember if they brought in Ships Ahoy again or not. But also just the arcade. Yeah, the arcade is in there. I've been on Instagram checking some of the tags, and it looks like you can actually play games, win prizes. All kinds of cool stuff. Netflix, they know what to do when it comes to promoting a show.
They do. They really do.
Yeah.
Especially
and they have
Stranger
unlimited
Things.
money. So
I have to say, even before now, granted, they do need some stuff like this because it's been so long since season 3 premiered. So I feel like the hype for Stranger Things kind of declined. So I feel like it's a good thing to like kind of get everybody hyped up because it is still a year away. Because I think by the time it releases, it's going to be like almost 3 years since we got the last season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be about 3 years.
Yeah.
Because I'll never forget logging in to Netflix on July 4th of 2019, right? And I was like, I'll watch a couple episodes. Ended up staying up till about 4 a.m. to finish the whole thing because I could not stop. And I remember like talking to one of my closest friends about it. And we were both like, yeah, it's going to be like Christmas 2020 before we get the next one, right? How wrong could we have been? Yeah, but
I remember back when it was coming out on the 4th of July, people were joking about it is the show that destroyed July 4th or took the place of July 4th that year because everybody just stayed home to binge.
Can I tell you that? But okay, for those of you who don't live in LA, we had a massive earthquake on July 4th, 2019. Massive earthquake. Everybody was currently watching Stranger Things when this earthquake hit.
It was produced by Netflix. They planned.
What did the Duffer Brothers do to make that happen and heighten the experience?
Emily and I walked in the 4th of July parade in Huntington Beach, came home, watched Stranger Things. We went to the pop-up for the ice cream shop, Scoops Ahoy.
Scoops Ahoy, thank you.
Right before the season dropped, because we knew once the season dropped it was going to be hell, which it was. We went there, got ice cream, went home, watched Stranger Things. We're watching Stranger Things season 3 when the earthquake hit, and we were like, we did not expect a 4D experience for Stranger Things. And when I went on the internet, every single person, because in LA we all post about earthquakes when they happen, it's a thing. Everybody was like, when you're watching Stranger Things and an earthquake hits. This earthquake literally caused the water in the pool at my apartment complex to overflow and shoot out of the pool. Like, it was flooded outside my
Can I just real quick ask, what time of day was this?
It was like late. It was like early evening, if I remember correctly.
Oh, 4th of July, early evening?
Yeah.
Okay,
Jim was drunk.
I was drunk. That's why I wasn't feeling it. So, anyways, no, Mom, I'm just joking. All right. So, real quick, just to tag on to what Danae was saying, if you want more information, go to theconguy.com. We have a whole article about where you can sign up for your time to go into one of the pop-up stores. They are here in LA. It's over at the Americana brand. You can also find it in Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Miami, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. It's all over the place. And I have a reservation for Thursday. Ryan, who is a friend of the show, he's there, I think, right now. So, no, he's done. He's done. He's going today. So that's kind of cool. So hooray for Stranger Things. It cannot come soon enough. One more thing we're going to talk about before we jump into San Diego Comic-Con. This is a big week for Disney Plus. Speaking about streaming services, Disney Plus is celebrating 2 years, and they're starting their third. And boy, they have really made some gains on Netflix. People are predicting that Disney Plus might be the biggest streamer in 4 or 5 years. They might overtake Netflix, and that's a huge deal. We'll see if that happens. Baby Yoda has a little bit to do with that. I always say Baby Yoda is what saved the Disney company during the pandemic. It is what kept the company afloat.
He helps a little bit, just saying.
But this Friday is the official Disney Day. It kicks off a global celebration with a week-long company-wide promotions. If you are a Disney Plus subscriber, you get to go into the theme parks half an hour early. You get to experience some special stuff. I'm going to go through some of the stuff real quick. Disney Plus, yeah, isn't it crazy?
I can't go to Disney because Disney's having some insane rules right now for employees, but that's aside. But what?
They're having, yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, it's worldwide. Walt Disney World and out here in California, you can go in 30 minutes before the parks open. And then Disney's Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World and Disneyland Park out here are rolling out the blue carpet for guests with character moments, photo opportunities, and more. You get a complimentary Disney photo pass, photo downloads. Tower of Terror is going to be blue. It's kind of cool. They're really celebrating style at the parks. Also, Katie, this as our Funko specialist, Disney is teaming up with Funko to offer an exclusive 10% off Disney products Friday, November 12th to Sunday, November 14th on Funko.com and at their 2 locations, one in Washington and the one in Hollywood, California.
This is completely news to me. I had no idea. So
it's going to be a big day. Then also, there's 200 AMC theaters across the country that are going to have 4 daily surprise screenings of fan favorite movies. I don't know exactly what that means, but I bet you it's
planets.
Yeah, probably not. But anyways, because there's a lot showing up on Disney Plus on
Shang-Chi.
Yep. What's that?
Sorry, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi is finally making its way over to Disney Plus. Jungle Cruise is going to be there. Black Widow is going to be there. It's a big day. Plus, a new documentary, The Making of Happier Than Ever, a love letter to Los Angeles, starring Billie Eilish, is going to be on there. Marvel Assembled, The Making of Shang-Chi is going to show up. They're going to have Disney Legends, Marvel Studios Legends Hawkeye, a new behind-the-scenes look at Hawkeye, because Hawkeye is coming out very soon. Let me see this other stuff. Here's the movies. These are the titles that are going to show up on Disney Plus. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Jungle Cruise.
Jim, do you want me to 3-minute news this one?
Oh, do you have it? Yeah, do it, Ben. Do it.
Okay. These are the titles that were previously announced for Disney Plus Day premiering, including Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Jungle Cruise, Home Sweet Home Alone, Olaf Presents, Frozen Fever, Paperman, The Ballad of Nessie, Feast, Get a Horse, The Little Match Girl, Tick-Tock Tale, Tangled, Ever After, Ciao Alberto, The Simpsons in Plusiversary, The World According to Jeff Goldblum Season 2, Under the Helmet, The Legacy of Boba Fett, Marvel Studios 2021 Disney Plus Day Special, Entrelazados, and the International Markets and Dope Sick. What?
In some markets, Dope Sick, it's probably going to be on Hulu for those of us here in America, but
it's already on Hulu now.
So other places
cast.
Yeah. So, but it's kind of cool. We don't need to name them all, but 13 different Marvel films are going to be released on Disney Plus Day in the IMAX format, which is a new thing.
Wow. IMAX format for at home.
How are they going to do that?
It's like when you watch The Next Generation on Netflix, and it's just like watching it on an old TV.
So it'll be widescreen format? I'm so confused.
No, it'll be like this. What I'm in.
Letterboxd.
Yes, I guess it's like when we watch the Snyder Cut of Justice League.
How do you watch an IMAX version of a movie on a normal TV?
You buy a really expensive TV.
All right. So that is
Disney use like a home projector thing and watch it.
I don't have a projector. Those are expensive.
Outside.
I know. I am perplexed about watching an IMAX version of a movie on my HD sized television. And do I got to go back and get like an old TV like Ben was, like a square one now? Not a
projector.
Fan.
Projector.
Anyway, so that is Disney Plus Day. Disney Plus is doing gangbusters. There's a rumor also that the new Obi-Wan trailer is going to be dropping on this Friday, which I'm so stoked about. So there's a rumor that happens this Friday. That's just a rumor, but we'll see what happens. And and like we said
I like
before,
your excited face
perhaps
today.
the
Thank you.
Spider-Man trailer will be dropping this Friday. So this Friday's a big day.
I don't know what to be more excited about, Spider-Man or Obi-Wan. Okay, like my nerd heart is exploding right now.
What a time to be alive!
You're
You
not
guys
wrong.
know me. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I am not nearly the same level of Star Wars fans as a majority of the Con Guy family is. But Obi-Wan is my favorite character. So I am so excited for this show.
I don't know what you're talking about.
For this show. Also, Jim totally skipped over my portion of the show because he's
No,
like, "This is our
yours is
last thing
next.
before Comic-Con."
Oh, no, yours is next. I'm sorry, Katie. Your section of the show is right now. And before we jump into Comic-Con, Katie, there's another gigantic thing that happened this weekend, a big movie that was released. What is it?
Eternals.
Ba-doo!
So, first of all, I want to preface this by saying my roommate was really excited about this. I got her addicted. She just finished watching all of Game of Thrones like literally a month ago. So she's a little late to the train, but she understands why we all love this beautiful, gorgeous human being, Richard Madden. So
I thought you were talking about Gemma Chan, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
Are you
queen
talking about
as
me?
well.
Sorry.
But anyway, Eternals came out this weekend. Please go see it, especially to support, if for no other reason, to support diversity in the MCU. That is the biggest thing I want to say today. It is not the same as any other Marvel movie that has been released. It is very different, but in a good way. So please, if you are a Marvel fan and if you are a fan of diversity in film, please go see it because you have the most diverse cast that a Marvel movie has ever had. Ethnicity-wise, LGBTQ, IA plus wise, handicapped wise, there is a deaf actress playing a deaf superhero. So there's a little bit of something for everybody, and everybody will feel heard and seen in this movie. In the same way that if you guys watched our Shang-Chi show, you know that I felt heard and seen when I saw Shang-Chi. It is the same type of thing. So I will warn you, it is very long. It is a 2.5-hour movie.
2 hours and 39 minutes.
Very dialogue heavy. It is not your action-packed Marvel movie. So just know that going into it. We did do a show right before this with Con Kids / Con Guys / Con Girls, where we do delve into a more review of the movie. So please check that out on our YouTube if you want to see a full review. I'm not going to give spoilers here because some of our team, pardon me, I just burped. I'm so sorry. Anyway,
let's announce
has not seen it yet. So I don't want to spoil it here. But please go see it. It's honestly really nice to see a cast like this and a movie like this and a beautiful movie like this for the MCU, and to see that they are trying to help those people who maybe are getting superhero fatigue to change it up, to take risks. And I don't know about a lot of you guys, but a lot of movies are the same thing over and over again because it's safe. They don't lose money if it's safe, if they know it's successful. And Marvel took a risk with this movie, and I am very happy about it. One of our friends of the Con Guy actually, Tom. Is it Tom? Or I'm saying that right? His name is actually Tom, right? Param?
Who are you talking about?
Yes.
Param.
It's yes, Tom, right?
Oh, yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
He spells it with an H, but it's Tom.
I just wanted to make sure I'm not wrong in pronouncing it Tom. Tom, he actually posted on his Facebook about how he read a review that someone said it would have worked better as a Disney Plus series. I understand why people think it would have worked more successfully as a Disney Plus series because they do add 10 characters into this movie. 10 characters. That is a ton of people to introduce into a 2.5-hour movie.
I got the comic book.
That is the only downside of it, is it is a lot to process. There's some major things that there's a lot of questions about where it's going to lead for Phase 4, but I personally am super impressed with Phase 4 in the sense that so many people who have watched the same type of superhero movie their whole life finally have another outlet to watch, and that Marvel is embracing that aspect of diversity so effectively and taking those risks. And I am so excited. I'm on board. So watch that show to get my full review. I'll probably post a review later on social media and stuff, but it's fun. If you like Marvel, it's fun. If you don't like Marvel, you might still like this because it is different. So maybe give it a chance. You don't need to know.
If you like DC films, you're really going to like this film.
Yes, true. It's different. If you don't have a lot of history with watching Marvel films, you can still watch this. They reference the movies, but not in a way that you will not be able to follow if you haven't seen the other Marvel movies. So that's that.
About 10 years ago, I bought Kumail Nanjiani a beer in a bar.
Did you
Really?
Yeah.
Was that when he was on Franklin and Bash?
It might have been. It was like 10 years ago. He was about to do a thing at we were in the bar Birds on Franklin Avenue in Hollywood, and he was about to go on stage and do this thing at the Upright Citizens Brigade, and I was there to see the show, and the bar was packed, and he was trying to get a beer, and I was like, I've got a tab open, I'll get you. And he's like, oh no, that's okay. And I was like, no, it's cool. And I was like, get this guy a beer. And they're like, okay. And then he's like, what do I owe you? I'm like, don't worry about it, dude. And that was my encounter with Kumail Nanjiani.
Nice.
I saw him.
Aren't you just a saint?
Also,
It's good you were nice to him, you know?
he is the
Right?
first person from India who is represented in the MCU, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big thing for Marvel as well, because they have the Indian, they have 2 Asians, they have obviously some white people, because obviously there's still going to be white people. They have a whole bunch of ethnicities.
I want to make this point. He's actually Pakistani.
Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry.
Well, South Asian though is
South Asian is
South
what I should
Asian,
have said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially
I am so sorry. Please don't cancel me.
Especially, Katie, we would be forgiven for thinking that with the direction his character takes in the film.
Yes.
So
South
Also,
Asian,
I mean, in Deadpool, you had Karen Sony, who was actually born in New Delhi.
I was going to say South Asian, and I'm sorry, the tequila.
Well, listen,
may
let's
have
not.
that.
We're not the type of podcast that we're sitting here saying negative stuff. I think we can be
Yeah.
forgiven. We're celebrating this, and we think it's great. I do have to say, am I the only other one who saw the movie on the podcast here today, or
I did not see it.
You might
okay?
be.
Well, me and Katie
I think
just
so.
go
I've
check
read some
out.
reviews, and that's about it.
Yeah. Go check out the Con Guy, Con Kids, Con Girl review of the film. It's posted this week. Check it out. We have a lot of fun with it because there's a lot of, for those of you've been reading right now, it's around 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. Marvel films never do that poorly, although the audience score is at 80%. So that I personally am getting to where I trust professional critics less and less.
Yeah.
But
certainly.
then again, also, Katie, this movie was the result of, like, what do you call it? A review bomb?
Review bomb. Yes.
Yeah.
So you can't completely trust the reviews for this film on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, because Rotten Tomatoes did change their policy that you cannot review a movie until it comes out, because of what happened with, was it Wonder Woman?
Ghostbusters.
Captain Marvel.
And Captain Marvel.
Yeah, So
they changed their policy, so you cannot review a movie on Rotten Tomatoes till it's released. But IMDb, it is not the case. It did get review bombed prior to its release because of a homosexual relationship before people even saw the movie, bashing it. So it is getting review bombed. So please don't take that as a sign of how the movie is. It is not a big deal like some of the reviews are saying. And it's great because they have that representation in the film. So don't trust what people necessarily are saying about it.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't think this is one of those movies that's okay for everybody. Can have differences of opinion and what they're comfortable with and whatnot. This is not a movie that's trying to shove anything. It's just everybody is what they are in the movie. And I come from a very conservative background. This movie didn't bother me one bit. It was any of that stuff. I
it was
celebrate
completely unnecessary and uncalled for. If you've seen the movie, you would know. It is all just about people being who they are, appreciating all different cultures, all different.
And Danae was about to ask the question.
Yeah, because here was my bump with the movie is like I feel like we're reaching that point with a point of diminishing return with Marvel, because it's almost like every movie now has to be like, no, this guy is bigger and badder than the last one. This is a bigger universe than the last one. I will be honest, I dozed off during the last episode of Loki, and I'm one of the biggest Tom Hiddleston fans. I've been here since 2010, and I will not leave. But it's just when we try and like once more outdo ourselves with the whole universe is in danger, but it's bigger than last time, it kind of wears me out a little bit. So that was my kind of hesitation with getting into Eternals. So what would be your response to my comment on like,
Can
but
I
it's
just
one
jump in,
more big
Katie?
thing?
You
Katie,
can, and then I'm gonna jump in. Yeah.
Katie can attest. That's one of the issues we discussed in our review. Can you tell I'm teasing the review? And one of the kids on the show, that was one of his things. He goes, he's tired of every movie has to just be bigger and better, and it's bigger explosions. This movie changed it up a little bit, and it made different kind of choices.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason I'm so excited for Spider-Man is I'm like, yeah, we're just back in New York. Matt Murdock might be there. I love this.
That said, Danae, I have to say, as a fan of Greek mythology, because if you guys do not know, Danae has a book that she has out that is around mythology, I think you would enjoy this film.
You son of a gun, I'm in.
Yep.
Also, you have to remember the source material, comic books, these things have been around for close to 100 years at this point, the comic book stories in general. The comic book stories in general. And so you're telling the stories with these same characters over and over again. So once you get to the point where the entire universe is in trouble, what are you going to do after that? Now multiple universes are in trouble, so it is kind of, it's a bit of a shackle for the.
It is, but I'm telling you, the great Jack Kirby felt that he created the new gods, the Eternals, and the Celestials. Basically, this is a way it's a modern mythology. And what's interesting is the movie, to try to make it feel weightier than it was, a big screen shows up and when the movie starts, it says in the beginning. Where'd that come from? So it's trying to pull us into like, wait, this creation of the universe was happening. And it's definitely a comic book version of that, but it's interesting. It's weighty. It's philosophical. I wish it was 39 minutes shorter. It needed to be 2 hours and not 2 hours. No, I'm going to say it. It was beautiful. And Chloe, she excels in human interactions and slowly getting to people and burning into their emotions and stuff. She needed to be edited. But that said, go see the movie. I think it's a good one. Katie, closing words, and then we got 10 minutes of Comic-Con here.
I mean, Danae, if you like Athena, the goddess of war, just saying.
All right.
I mean, technically, Athena is more of like the goddess of wisdom and strategy and battle, and Ares is the god of war. But it's okay.
But I do have to say this. I agree with Katie. It's cool that we flung open the doors and gun guy. But I can't wait for the day when we stop saying, this is the first time we had this on screen, and this is the first time we had this on screen. We're almost like, I think Marvel's in that era now. It used to be, we had a bunch of this, all these white guys. Now we're having a bunch of first. What's the next? Like, once we finally get past and we're just fully inclusive and open, that's what, because I think we're talking to, it was a great cast. I mean, just freaking out. By the way, the deaf actress, she's on The Walking Dead right now, and she is my favorite character on The Walking Dead right now. It's amazing.
The Walking Dead is still on?
Yes.
You just be quiet right there, young lady.
It's the last season.
No,
Except for the
I'm not saying,
spin-off.
by the way, I'm not against this. I'm for this, but there's going to be a day when we don't have to say that anymore. We don't have to say, this is the first time we did this. I'm waiting for the first time we get an old fat guy superhero. That's what I want. And then I can really see myself on screen.
In Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse.
I'm joking. Please don't say, Jim, you've already seen that. All right. All right, guys.
Just kill the punchline.
I know. San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition is coming up Thanksgiving weekend, November 26th through 28th. The panel list was released. And for those of you who thought we were going to have a stripped down small version of Comic-Con, you are correct. We are. But it's still like there's hundreds and hundreds of panels, it feels like. To go through this thing took forever. Anyways, I was just looking at some private conversations to us. But anyways, guys. All right. So, Katie, bye-bye. All right. So, San Diego Comic-Con is coming up in Thanksgiving weekend. I have some stuff to talk about with that. But does anyone have anything? I don't want to keep everybody all night long and force them to listen to us drone on and on. What do we have? What's the cool stuff that's happening at San Diego Comic-Con that would draw people down?
Well, first of all, San Diego Comic-Con. I would say that in and of itself.
I mean, yeah, there's actually a thing happening there at the real place.
Yeah.
Now, some of the inside info I've heard is people were like, why are they doing it Thanksgiving weekend? And from what I understand, it was like that was the only weekend available,
true.
for the convention center. But it's back at the convention center. It's back in San Diego. If you have never been, I'm just going to go on a little teeny tiny rant just about San Diego Comic-Con in general.
Do it.
If you have never been to San Diego Comic-Con, it is an experience unlike any other. It was really the first con that I ever went to, and this would have been back in, I want to say 2014. I think was the first year that I went, if I remember correctly, or it might have been no. It was 2012. I went in 2012.
2012 was my first year.
Or did I go in 2011? I ghosted it in 2011. And I went in, and a friend of mine was, who will remain nameless, had a booth. And then he's like, you can grab my badge. This was back in the days before RFID chips and that sort of thing. He was like, you can grab my badge. He was like, you can grab my badge while we go to lunch and go in and see the hall. So 2011, I go what's called ghosting, went in. It's this incredible thing where you walk in and it's a huge hall where you're like, all the things that I ever loved in my entire life, minus the creator of the universe, are in this hall. And in fact, he's in there too. And
that's true.
So
he is everywhere.
It's true.
If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there.
Okay,
I started a trend with my backwards hat. Look at this.
You did. Turn your
I had to go off screen and get mine. Yeah.
So it is this amazing experience where, you're gonna have some people being jackasses and being dumb, but most people are there because they're passionate and excited about the materials. There are people with booths who are passionate about their product that they're peddling, whether it be an indie comic book like we saw earlier in the show tonight, or their web series, or their line of clothing, or their comic book shop they're trying to get off the ground, or whatever it is, or their art that they're making, plus then you have the huge things like the Marvel setups and panels and the DC setups and panels and all this kind of stuff. And then outside of the convention center on a typical year, I don't know how it's going to be this year, you've got activations, you've got setups for different TV shows and movies and channels and websites that are doing obstacle courses and experiences and walkthroughs. There's the Walking Dead obstacle course you can run through, which I've done a couple years in the past.
Well, that's cool.
It's just this, you go and you are saturated in all the nerdy stuff that you love. And then people are just hanging out in hotel bars and getting drunk with Jared Padalecki, and it's insane. And it's a lot of fun. It really can be what you make of it. I've had some friends that are cosplayers that spent the entire time finishing their cosplay in their hotel room, and then they come down on Saturday afternoon and they're like, why was I doing that? I want to be down here having fun.
You can do both, by the way, just saying.
But it is one of the most special experiences that I enjoy in my nerdy fandom. And if you get the chance to go to even this, what I call discount Comic-Con, you should jump on it because it is a lot of fun.
Comic-Con's amazing. It's where I became friends with you guys.
That's right. That's where I met Jim, actually, was at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Also, if you live in Southern California or you live in California and you don't have family that you can visit because of reasons, it's a great way to at least feel like you have a family and people that you can spend that time with. Because I know that if I was not going home for the holidays, I would want to spend it with all of my nerdy brothers and sisters. So, just saying.
So my family is on the East Coast. I will see them over Christmas. I love my family. I wish I could go home for Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. Love it. I am hosting a Thanksgiving get together for those without a bunch of family. We call it the leftovers Thanksgiving. So you bring your leftovers, and if you feel like you are a leftover, show up. That's the way I put it. Anyways, I'm going down to Comic-Con. I'm going down to the San Diego Comic-Con, and here I was lucky because I heard they were having a Comic-Con later in the year. So I got on, and I did not have to participate in hotel sale, which already occurred. And there are still hotels available, but they were kind of pricey. But when I heard they were having a Comic-Con, I got online. I looked on the schedule for the convention center, and I saw that they had an opening on Thanksgiving weekend. I was like, surely that's not where we're going to go. But I got a hotel for that weekend, and then they announced it. So I'm at the Omni, guys. I'm right there at the Omni, and I got it for super duper cheap. I got it before they announced Comic-Con, so like I can afford it. Now it's like $300 a night. I got it for like one something. So
that's nice.
Anyway, Derek, wait, let me just tell you this real quick. Badges, believe it or not, because of the strange nature of this Comic-Con, badges are still on sale. If you want to go to this event, you can look at the little hands. Badges are still on sale, but you have to get the 3-day badge. I don't think they're selling single-day badges, and they are for adults $150, for juniors $75. I think that's 12 and under. Is that right? I think so.
I would imagine.
I'd have to check, but that sounds right.
Yeah, and then seniors and U.S. military. No, that's not me, so don't say it. Seniors and U.S. military, that's $75.
I'm Derek. You can go for the same price.
Yeah, juniors being 75, 12 and under makes sense because of the current vaccine requirements. People under 12, children under 12 are not able to get vaccinated, so I'm guessing that's
not true. Pfizer's been approved
now, I think.
Is it actually been approved though? But it's not. They can't get it yet, right? Like it's still not available.
Yeah,
I think it's been approved, but you have to get to a very they're not distributing.
Yeah, but when they announced this, when they announced this,
it'll be a couple of weeks before it's really that available for everybody, and it's probably
my dad got a booster, and so did my mom. I'm very happy. So,
but speaking of,
nice job.
All right.
I don't know if you guys talked about this while I was gone, but it is a vaccination or negative COVID test required.
Hey, Katie, we're having a hard time hearing you.
No, wait.
Pull your microphone up to your
There.
Is that better?
There you are.
Yes.
Did you guys already talk about the fact that it's COVID required?
Not yet.
So not COVID required. Okay, so anyway, as you guys know, I normally do con updates, and I think in a time like this, there's a lot of people scared to go to conventions for likely understandable reasons. Do know that if you do go to Comic-Con Special Edition, it is a proof of vaccination required, and for adults and children who are fully vaccinated, meaning 2 weeks after you've gotten your first shot, the one shot if you have Johnson & Johnson, or if you have 2 weeks after you've gotten either of the other vaccines, is required, or a negative COVID test 72 hours before the first day of the event. So by Tuesday of that weekend is what is required to go to this event. So it is a little bit safer. Obviously, no one is able to question how comfortable you feel. But if you are hesitant, you can do that. Obviously, there's all sorts of opinions on that. But if you are some of those people that feel nervous about going out, know that they are doing their best to try to make sure everybody is safe. So.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys see the prices of the hotels?
No.
I'm overpaid.
If they're anything like Comic-Con, it's expensive.
No. $185, $199 for the Hyatt San Diego Manchester Grand Hyatt. $199.
What?
Wait, we're live on the air right now. Delete that part. I got to get on
Wait. I'm surprised. I'm looking at the Comic-Con page right now of the hotels because I knew they had a hotel sale where you had to jump on, but
yeah,
Manchester Grand Hyatt, $199. Western Plus Hotel Marina, $149. What Bayside that's not the Bayside, is it? Reduced Holiday Inn Bayside, $125. Over at the airport, the hotel prices are ridiculous. Courtyard San Diego Convention Center gas lamp, $219 right now. Guys,
what are you looking at?
I'm looking. If you Google, what you want to do is Google San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition hotels.
Wow.
Click on that link.
Can
I mean, there's a page. So what this tells you, they're not going to sell out this year, guys. So if you have not ever attended a Comic-Con and you are interested, this one, they're going to great lengths to make it safe. You must wear a mask indoors at all time. You must have proof of vaccination. And the hotels are so cheap.
Okay, so
Hard Rock, the Hard Rock Hotel is $229 a night. That's usually $400 to $500 a night.
I know we have to talk about panels, but I just want you guys to know how much Comic-Con completely skews how much you spend on hotels. So like when I go anywhere else and it's like, oh, it's under $100 a night, I'm like, that's a great deal. And people look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, guys, when I go to Comic-Con, it's over $300 a night.
More than that.
When you tell me it's hotels under $100 a night, I'm like, sweet, that sounds great.
Hilton
That's
Bayfront.
not always true.
Hilton Bayfront is available for $249. $249.
That's pretty close to normal. Well, not for if you're outside of Comic-Con. Like, so
all right.
Normally if you're outside of Comic-Con and you're not going to the actual hotel lottery, normally for SDCC, it is $1,000 a night for those
It gets up there, yeah.
Yeah,
it does.
Insane.
All right, well, I found out that the Omni is now cheaper than what I paid for it. For crying out loud.
Oh, I'm sorry,
all right,
Jim.
So let's
That's
talk about panels real quick. Panels have been announced. There's 3 days of panels. And wait a second, I had something to say about it. The programming is heavy on cosplay, fan discussion, tabletop gaming, and there are going to be some celebrities. For those of you who complain that Comic-Con has gone all to Hollywood and it's just movies and TV, this is your year to check it out, because if you want to experience Comic-Con pre-2009, 2009 when Twilight came and changed the whole face of Comic-Con. If you want to experience that Comic-Con, this is your year to go. This is even probably smaller than WonderCon from what I've heard. And the largest room that they're going to be using is in the Marriott Marquis San Diego Marina. It's a room 6DE, has a capacity of 1,000, except for they are going to use Ballroom 20 for the Masquerade. But so,
Ballroom 20 is the largest. Other than that,
yeah. So this is the year to go. Derek, did you have a chance to look over the panels at all?
No, everything that I wanted to talk about here, you already said, except, I am very excited about the fact that the two celebrities mentioned here who will be there are Dante Basco and Brent Spiner.
Yes, Brent Spiner, man.
Yeah. Okay. Data is the best character in any Star Trek series, or I would say anything else. Like I was in like a little icebreaker question thing once, and they said, well, who's your favorite character in the Star Wars universe? And this one woman said Data, and she's like, oh, I know, but it's still Data. And I was like, yes, she's my best friend now. Because that is how great of a character Data is. And Brent Spiner is an amazing actor who brought him to life in many ways, like with no emotion and with all the emotion way over the top. And then also playing other characters that were like either the creator of Data or other androids that he also created. And they all looked alike. So they were all played by Brent Spiner. And then at one point he played like that creator's father or grandfather or some kind of ancestor in Enterprise. And then Brent Spiner played himself in a web series several years ago.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's a really good actor. And
Derek, I'm going to say this. Everything you just said, hard agree.
Yes.
So we know who Derek and Ben have crushes on.
That is so cool, especially for like an unspoken cool argument we had. I love it. That was the best. Okay. All right. What if you guys, and we're not going to be able to go over all the panels tonight. I'm just going to go to the Comic-Con website, look at their list of panels. They got 3 days of panels, heavy on cosplay, comic books, gaming. Those are the three big ones. If you are
Pokemon.
They do have some cool. What you say, Katie?
And Pokemon.
Yeah. So, Katie, did you see any panels that are kind of sticking out to you?
Not at the moment. I'm looking through it right now, but I will tell you guys that the Harry Potter fandom panels, they don't have any like absolutely like necessarily well-known talent unless you are really familiar with the Harry Potter fandom, but they can have some really interesting panels about like the psychology behind your favorite franchises.
Yeah.
Interesting panels. Events like this have obscure panels that are sometimes really interesting. So if you look at it and you have the time and there's nothing else you want to go to at that time, go check them out. Because sometimes the small panels that seem lame are I don't want to say lame, but y'all know what I mean. Sometimes the small
I know what you're saying. Maybe
Yeah,
You
amazing.
get stabbed in the neck with a pen.
So
Okay, wait. We got a guest, somebody in the chat. Nice beard, Ben. Nerds, Luke Cheeseman, and yes,
takes
Jim does
one
not
to
wear.
know one, Luke.
Jim does not wear backwards hats, so this must be multiverse Jim.
But Pokemon Go, also Pokemon Go has a panel.
Of course.
Curious to see how that goes because they
Pokemon
did schedule-
Go is still a thing?
Yes, it is. It is still a thing.
It's
I
still
still
going.
have that app.
Mhm.
But Pokemon Go was scheduled to have a panel at Comic-Con a few years back and canceled it last minute. Instead, they ended up having an event for Pokemon Go at Comic-Con where if you could catch certain Pokemon
They
that
moved
were
it into
only
Hall H.
available at Comic-Con. So
Yeah.
who knows what they're going to throw out at an
Here's the
event
deal.
like this.
Our friend Greg, who you guys met because of Comic-Con, and Greg's not been able to go for the past few years. He's had some health issues, and some other stuff. He now has things on both hands. So he walks around catching these Pokemon characters wherever he's at. He met us in Florida, and we went to Universal Studios and different stuff. And he was catching like Pokemons on top of a roller coaster and all this other stuff. I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever. He has now established a community of people that he travels with and he has dinner with through Pokemon. I'm like, this is bizarre to me, but I love that. I love it.
We introduced him to that, right?
Yes, I blame you. Derek. Listen,
Literally, all it
And that was the last time I went to Comic-Con.
All it says on the panel for Pokemon Go is it's at November 27th at 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. So I'm assuming it's an event. And it says, ask us anything. And then it says where to play. And it has a Discord link.
That's cool.
So I'm assuming it's going to be an exclusive event for San Diego Special Edition. Comic-Con.
Here's some cool stuff coming up. On Sunday, 1 p.m. 60E, Mythbusters is having a tribute session. Also, that's the day that Brent Spiner, Star Trek Next Generation, is also. He's on Friday. But have you guys we need Con Girl shirts. The boys are representing up. Yeah, we do need to get the Con Girl shirts. There's 3
I
Con
don't have
guys.
any Con Guys shirts yet.
Luke Cheeseman, we need to get on that. Really cool.
Yeah,
really quick.
Lucas.
Luke.
That's your real name. I don't know.
Have you guys seen the toys that made us and the movies that made us on Netflix?
Yes.
Yes. Not the movies that made us, but I do want to watch it.
They're going to be at Comic-Con and we can ask them any question. I love that. And also, this is they're going to be there. Let me see. Room 60E on Friday at 3:45. Also, growing up, we all know about Twilight Zone, but I grew up, me and my dad, we would watch this thing called Night Gallery. It was kind of like a scarier version of Twilight Zone. It was Rod Serling, and it was all based on these paintings. Well, those paintings are going to be on display along with some surprise guests, the author, and some people from that show. I am very stoked about that. That's like the one thing that Atlanta does with their Dragon Con is they celebrate shows that are long ago gone, fandoms and stuff. And this seems like that type of a celebration. I am very excited about that. So that's something I do have to mention. On Sunday around 3:00, Luke Cheeseman is going to be on his very first Comic-Con panel. Woohoo! Yes,
I know him.
Yes, he's on a panel. It's called online branding and professionalism. It's about if you are going to create something creative, con guy, con girl, how to online, you must be very creative and professional and how you brand yourself. So he's on a panel. And that same day, I am on a panel, which is a perennial favorite of ours to be on, how to have a full-time career on a part-time schedule. So we are both presenting and we're representing the con guy. I can't wait to get the con girls on the panel. By the way, in a few weeks, Ben's going to have a big part, I think, in the LA Comic-Con, right? You're going to be there kind of like representing #show in a big way. I think
I'll be there with #show. I don't really have any confirmation on any of the things I'm doing, but I'll be there with #show. So I'm sure I'll be doing a lot of stuff with them. #show, by the way, many of you might be watching us through the #show network. And we would like to acknowledge and thank them. As you can see, the little logo up next to Jim there, THS. Of course, always, as always, brought to you by our sponsors, Neft Vodka and Toink.com. Check those out. Of course, always drink responsibly and always play with toys responsibly. And but yeah, THS is going to have a big presence and connection with LA Comic-Con. So very excited about that as well.
So we're going to really cover that one in a huge way. We're going to be there on that #show, the con guy at LA Comic-Con. But right now, real quick, let's kind of wrap up. We don't really have time to go through the entire list of, is there anything that stands out in our last few minutes of the show, guys? Anything. Comixology is there in a big way, which is kind of cool.
There is still a masquerade.
Yes. On Saturday night.
The Masquerade, I have a love-hate relationship with, but if you are a fan of cosplay, if you're a fan of seeing people put absolutely amazing time into extraordinary costumes, definitely check into that. Also, Jim, is there any sort, because I have not been able to follow as closely with Comic-Con SE as I've been wanting to, because I know I won't be able to be there, is there any sort of online content?
I tell you what, I will find out next week. We'll kind of flesh out a little bit more of the details of some of the nitty gritty of Comic-Con. We just wanted to kind of throw it out there this week, say the panels are out there, but like, I don't know. I think that there are going to be some offsites actually. I think Mr. Bernie Bregman is having a party down there. So I think
probably,
but I know he wanted to. In this era, next year, guys, we're going to be hopefully we'll be fully open. This year, it's a hybrid thing where we're kind of we got to really be careful. But I do think they are having an online something. I heard some talk about that, but I will find out for you.
Sounds good.
I'm excited about a lot of the panels are how to work in indie comics, independent, like writing, getting into Hollywood. A lot of the creators a lot of these smaller panels that some of us kind of sometimes skin them over because we're waiting in line for 4 hours to see, the newest superhero out of Marvel or DC. We're going to have a chance to do that this time. I'm really excited about it. X-Men fandom panel. Really simple, really cool. I think Tony Kim has a couple of panels that he's doing. We'll see if we can get him on the show to talk about it. D&D all day. Miniatures paint. That looks weird. I'm not even going to read that one. But special effects, creating fan favorite thrillers, pet finders, elevators, unicorns, aliens, and more. Professional pivoting. I don't even know what that is.
Pivot.
Hosted by Tony Kim. Wait. What is this?
Oh, that's great. Well, I think professional pivoting is often like when you change careers.
I think that's exactly what it is.
After you're out there. Because I've heard of people talking about like the coding boot camp I just did. They have a podcast called The Tech Pivot, which was the idea of someone who's been in a career for a while and then they pivot and go to a different career.
Pivot.
Derek understands that when you say the word pivot, you have to say it like that.
Pivot.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say it. What are you talking about, Katie?
I know.
If you look up the pronunciation in the dictionary, it's in all caps.
Pivot. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The one with the tech tips. That's another class. That's amazing. All right.
We're going off the rails.
I know. All right, guys, let's wrap up here. We are kind of going late. We went a little bit longer than we anticipated. But any other last thoughts about the special edition Comic-Con? Any bits of advice? Anything that people could take away from the show? Danae, are you falling asleep?
No. I was looking at pictures on my phone. I'll be honest.
Jim,
All
I'm
right.
thinking we might need to be neighbors with you at the Omni down there. We'll see.
Look how cheap it is. Come on. I know. Even if you get, okay, let's not say anything. But if you guys, by the way, tickets are still available. And never mind. I'll talk. The next thing I was going to say, I'll talk to you guys offline because I don't want to say it right here. All right.
I was just going to
tell
say,
everybody I can get you some tickets. All right. Oh, no, don't want to say
Thanks, Jim.
that. All right,
I was going to say, if you've never been to Comic-Con before, as we were talking about, and the things like the crowds or just not being able to get tickets or not being able to afford a hotel or the things that kept you away from it before, this might be the year to still try.
Yeah.
Because apparently
2022 is going to be crazy. So,
Yeah, next year, here's the thing. Also to remember, a lot of people who went, they had tickets for 2020. They had the option to just roll their tickets over to 2021 or to this event. Most people kept them and they are rolling their tickets over to 2022. And so right now, as of right now, we've been told that 2022 is already sold out already before they've opened it up. So it's going to be a hard thing getting into that one. But so come to this one instead. Come to this one. All right, guys, let's go ahead and end the night. My name is, it's 3 flavor. I don't know what that even means. It's 3 flavors of ice cream and 1 bowl too many.
No.
Depends on the flavor.
Well, I don't know what that means.
All right. I don't know.
Oh, wait. He's going to
Jim,
make a
let's figure it
shirt
out
with
after we're
Leah's
done.
hair. Okay, guys, let's stop talking to Luke because he's confusing me. All right, guys. My name is Jim Fry. You can find me here at theconguy.com. You can find me on Instagram at James D. Fry or Instagram Jim Fry LA. Where can we find Con Guy Derek?
You can't.
I know. Derek's really tired these days.
That's true. I'm also not on social media anymore. I still I do occasionally use at Con Guy Derek on Twitter if you want to see some things there. I will try and share any updates if we're at a convention or see some convention news. Otherwise you'll just have to find me right here on the Con Guy Show or on theconguy.com.
Con Girls, let's see. Katie, where can people find you?
You can find me at all social media, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, at KT Christine. I've been trying to get more involved on TikTok. I do Twitch stream, usually pretty late at night because of my busy schedule. So if you guys are into Twitch and like watching me get frustrated while playing video games, you can join me there. I am going to try to do some more group streaming where I stream with my viewers. So if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, check me out there. I have not been very active though. And at the Con Girls with this beautiful woman over here, Danae, we have some good stuff planned in the next couple months. So please tune into that. And otherwise, I like to literally tweet way too much. So yeah, there's that.
Danae?
So I'm the other half of the Con Girls, half of the Samblings, as by this Ron Swanson-esque figure up here. You can find me on Instagram at DNAYS. I would like to say I'm on TikTok, but I'm mostly there sending videos to Katie, so it doesn't totally count. But yeah, we've got some amazing Con Girls stuff coming up as soon as we go off the air. I want to talk to Jim about it, and I cannot wait to share what's coming.
And before
Can I also say...
Go ahead.
Can I say one more thing, though, that I forgot to say?
Yeah.
The internet can be a very toxic place, and the world can be a very toxic place right now. And I really felt like I needed to say, please be kind to each other. If you see someone who's struggling, if you see someone in a bad situation, help them. Show that this world can be better than what some of things that have been happening recently, because we all need people to care about us. We all need to care for our other fellow brothers and sisters. Just be kind. Even though we may disagree, be kind to each other, please. So
even when the others don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Katie, that's so stupid. Why would you want to say something like that? I'm kidding.
Oh,
Katie,
Jim.
That is amazing. Katie, thank you so much. We all need more than that. Before Ben closes us out, pivoting. This panel of geek professionals discuss the ups, downs, pitfalls, and opportunities of creating and pivoting in the brave new world post-pandemic, hosted by Tony Kim, Panelists include Ivy Doom Kitty. She's a pro cosplayer, and Chris Gore. That's going to be a pretty cool panel. Ben, take us out of here.
Hey everyone, it's me, old buddy Ben, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BENKLIEWER, or you can search the hashtag BK421. I've got some exciting things in the works for BK421, but nothing really solid yet, and so I can't really say anything.
You're working for Burger King now?
What? Huh?
You're working for Burger King now? That's what that
Burger
stands for?
King.
Oh, okay.
I wish. Someday I'll have my own meal at Burger King, just like Nelly.
Yeah.
So this has been the Con Guy Happy Hour. Thanks for joining us for a drink tonight and for 90 minutes. And remember,
1 hour we went over.
Speaking of drinks, I'm always drinking out of this red cup because whenever Ben Cleaver shows up, it's always a party. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to The Con Guy Show, the official program of theconguy.com. Find us on the Weeby Geeks Collective or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And now on sci-fi.radio, Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, both AM and PM. That's 9 o'clock Greenwich. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi.